Chapter 1. The Artist's Cell. In the dim confines of Elmwood Penitentiary, we meet Marcus, a former street artist whose life took a turn for the worse after a robbery landed him behind bars. The walls of his cell, painted with unforgiving gray, reflect his inner turmoil. Yet here, in isolation, Marcus discovers a lifeline: art. Armed with contraband supplies, he begins to transform his stark surroundings into vibrant murals, each stroke of paint telling a story of rebellion and resilience. His passion catches the attention of an elderly inmate, a once renowned artist himself, who becomes an unexpected mentor. Together they explore the historical significance of art in captivity, forging a bond that transcends generational divides. As the duo prepares for an upcoming prison art exhibit, Marcus realizes that through creativity, he can challenge preconceived notions about life behind bars, awakening a sense of purpose that eventually resonates far beyond his cell's confines. Chapter 2. The Art Exhibit. The day of the art exhibit dawned bright and tense. Marcus could feel the weight of anticipation in the air as he stood in front of his completed mural, an explosion of color and emotion adorning the once blank walls of the prison courtyard. Inmates and staff gathered, their whispers mingling with the clanging of metal doors. As the exhibit opened, eyes widened and smiles broke through hardened expressions. Art allowed them to see beyond the bars. Reactions varied. Some were skeptical, while others found a spark of hope in Marcus's vibrant visuals. Conversations brewed, bridging divides as inmates shared their own artistic visions. For Marcus, the exhibit was not just a showcase. It represented a powerful narrative of resilience and identity. In its aftermath, connections formed through creativity lingered, igniting a sense of community. The walls, once mere confinement, transformed into a testament to the human spirit's ability to thrive even in the darkest of places. Chapter 3. The Quiet Scribe. In the heart of Elmwood Penitentiary, we meet Jamal, a young man serving time for drug offenses. Beneath his quiet exterior lies a burning passion for writing. Armed only with a battered notebook and a pencil he's managed to keep hidden, Jamal chronicles his experiences in prison. His diary becomes a sanctuary, a refuge where he pours out the tumult of his daily life, capturing the camaraderie, despair, and glimmers of hope around him. Each entry reveals his dreams of a world beyond bars, where he can share the untold stories of his fellow inmates. As he writes, a community begins to form. Inmates gather to hear his words, finding solace in shared struggles. Through Jamal's poignant reflections, listeners witness the power of artistic expression, as he learns that even in confinement, the human spirit can soar and connect, bringing forth stories that demand to be heard. Chapter 4. Crossing Boundaries. Inside the dimly lit room where Linda's discussion group gathers, inmates of varying backgrounds sit in a circle, each holding tightly to their own beliefs. The atmosphere is charged with anticipation, as Linda facilitates an open dialogue, inviting participants to share their thoughts on morality, justice, and forgiveness. Tensions occasionally flare as opposing viewpoints clash, but Linda skillfully navigates the disputes, urging the group to listen with empathy. One inmate, a former gang member, expresses his feelings of betrayal by the system, while another, imprisoned for theft, reflects on the impact of his choices on his family. Their stories resonate, breaking down barriers and creating unexpected alliances. As laughter and tears mingle in the air, friendships emerge, revealing the shared humanity beneath their circumstances. In this crucible of ideas, the inmates begin to redefine not only their pasts, but also the relationships they build behind these walls. Chapter 5. The Unseen Guardian. Daniel sits on the edge of his cot, the weight of his former life as a police officer heavy on his shoulders. Once a figure of authority, he now navigates the prison's complex social fabric as a convicted felon. The stigma of his past lingers, casting a shadow over his attempts to connect with fellow inmates. Yet Daniel seeks redemption through mentorship, offering guidance to younger inmates who wander the halls lost and confused. In quiet moments, he shares stories of restraint and decision-making, hoping to steer them away from a path of self-destruction. His teachings foster respect, and a few stray souls begin to gather around him, drawn by his sincerity. As tensions simmer in Elmwood, Daniel faces obstacles not only from others but within himself, grappling with guilt and shame from the decisions that led him here. His journey reflects a longing for purpose, and the struggle to redefine his identity amid chaos. Chapter 6. The Authentic Voice. Jamal gathered the courage to share his writings, bringing his stories of resilience and struggle to the inmates within his community. As he read excerpts from his novel in progress, a hushed reverence settled over the room. The raw emotion in his words sparked something deep within his fellow inmates, prompting them to reflect on their own experiences. Each story captured in Jamal's work resonated profoundly. Tales of lost dreams, fractured families, and the ghosts of choices made. Moments of silence transformed into heartfelt discussions as inmates shared their own narratives, revealing vulnerabilities and forging connections previously thought impossible. Jamal's authentic voice became a catalyst for change, inspiring unity among the diverse group. The act of storytelling created a tapestry of shared humanity, highlighting that within the confines of Elmwood, they all yearned for understanding, redemption, and hope. In that moment, the walls felt a little less confining, echoing with newfound camaraderie. Chapter 7. The Con Artist's Confession. Samantha sat on her bunk, best known for her charm that effortlessly navigated the treacherous waters of prison life. Behind her confident facade lay a tumultuous past filled with manipulation and deception. As she interacted with fellow inmates, her silver tongue began to falter. She couldn't escape the gnawing sense of disconnection. In a poignant moment, surrounded by her peers, she reflected on the barriers she had built to protect herself. Opening up during a late-night discussion, Samantha shared the motivations behind her cons, the fear of vulnerability that pushed her toward deceit. To her surprise, revealing her insecurities sparked genuine connections among inmates who had initially been hesitant to trust her. The echoes of laughter morphed into something deeper, camaraderie and understanding. As she unraveled her complex layers, Samantha realized that in seeking genuine relationships, she could finally confront her past and pave the way for self-redemption. Chapter 8. Building Connections. As Samantha navigates the complex social web of Elmwood Penitentiary, she finds herself forging unexpected bonds with inmates who initially resist her charm. What begins as a game of manipulation gradually shifts as she reveals her vulnerabilities. During a group exercise prompted by Linda's philosophical discussions, Samantha shares an intimate story of betrayal that left scars on her heart. In this moment of honesty, the barriers begin to crumble. In a surprising twist, she becomes a pillar of support for an inmate known for his cold demeanor, who opens up about his own sense of isolation. Their late-night conversations, filled with laughter and raw honesty, sow the seeds of genuine friendship. As Samantha learns the value of trust and empathy, the walls around her heart soften. This transformation not only impacts her, but also ripples through the inmate community, highlighting the power of connection amidst adversity. Chapter 9. The Unseen Guardian. Daniel sits in the cramped common area of Elmwood Penitentiary, his once steadfast demeanor now tinted with uncertainty. Formerly a police officer, he arrived here as a fallen guardian, burdened by the shadow of a corruption scandal that stripped him of his badge and reputation. The whispers from fellow inmates claw at his resolve, branding him a traitor, yet he strives to redefine himself. As he carefully mentors younger inmates, lending a listening ear and offering guidance, he battles the stigma of his past. Among the chaos, Daniel discovers an unexpected bond with Jamal, whose quiet ambition inspires him. They share stories of lost dreams and redemption, creating a refuge amidst the stark reality of prison life. Daniel's role as a mentor becomes more than a duty. It morphs into a lifeline, illuminating paths of hope, even as he grapples with his own fractured identity. In this shared struggle, he finds purpose anew. Chapter 10. Guiding Light. As the chaos of prison life ebbs and flows like the tide, Daniel emerges as a beacon of hope for the younger inmates. Navigating through the noise of Elmwood, he dedicates himself to mentoring those teetering on the brink of despair. One day, he encounters Elijah, a troubled 16-year-old with a pattern of self-destructive behavior. Recognizing a reflection of his younger self in Elijah, Daniel steps in, offering sage advice and a listening ear. Together they engage in deep conversations, where Daniel shares his experiences of integrity and accountability. As he guides Elijah through anger management and conflict resolution, a bond forms, marking a turning point for both men. Empowered by Daniel's unwavering support, Elijah begins to reclaim his identity, transforming his path within the prison walls. In that shared journey, Daniel discovers that guiding others not only redeems his past but ignites a newfound purpose in his own life. Chapter 11. The Scandal Unfolds. As whispers of Daniel's past circulate like a malignant shadow, he wrestles with the stigma of being a former police officer imprisoned for corruption. Memories of his days on the force flash through his mind, moments of pride overshadowed by desperation that led him to compromise his values. In flashbacks, listeners witness the tantalizing allure of power and the slow unraveling of his moral compass. Amidst the chaos of prison life, Daniel feels the weight of guilt and shame pressing down, particularly from the younger inmates who look to him for guidance. They see a mentor, but he sees a man stained by his failures. As he grapples with these conflicting identities, Daniel's resolve strengthens. He must confront his past publicly. In a heavy moment of vulnerability, he shares his story with the inmates, forging a connection that becomes both a cathartic release and a powerful lesson in accountability. Chapter 12. The Climactic Event. As tensions simmered within Elmwood Penitentiary, a crisis erupted. A volatile altercation between rival factions left the air thick with anxiety. Daniel, ever the mentor, quickly recognized that this volatile situation could threaten not just his efforts to guide the younger inmates, but the fragile relationships forged among Marcus, Linda, Jamal, and Samantha. In the midst of chaos, he rallied the inmates, urging them to remember their shared aspirations and connection. With voices raised and hearts pounding, they each confronted their fears and pasts, standing together against the unrest. As the commotion escalated, the pulse of their interconnected stories surged, revealing a profound truth. In solidarity, they discovered strength. Daniel's leadership transformed the confrontation into a powerful moment of unity, compelling inmates to reconsider their animosity. Through this harrowing experience, they unearthed the resilience and humanity within, igniting a desire for change that would ripple throughout Elmwood. Chapter 3. Echoes of Change. In the aftermath of the tumultuous event, Elmwood Penitentiary buzzes with a renewed sense of purpose. The crisis forced the inmates to confront their fears and forge unexpected alliances, creating an unbreakable bond among them. Marcus's murals, once mere expressions of rebellion, now symbolize hope and resilience, captivating both inmates and staff alike. Linda's discussion group transforms into a vital support network, challenging perceptions and fostering empathy. Jamal's powerful writings, emerging from his diary filled with raw emotions, ignite a spark of inspiration among his peers, creating an atmosphere of shared storytelling. Meanwhile, Samantha's charm evolves into a genuine connection with those around her, and Daniel steps up as a beacon of guidance, instilling confidence in younger inmates. As the echoes of their collective transformation ripple through the prison walls, it becomes evident that change is not just possible but essential, paving the way for healing and redemption in their fractured lives.